Hello guys, Mojdal here. In this video, I'll be talking about the Hallow's End seasonal event in Classic WoW and all the cool stuff it brings. Candy, buffs, and all the fun gimmicky items. So let's get started. The first thing I would like to talk about is the treat bags, which you have a chance to get from any innkeeper once every hour. They're really awesome and provide some really cool and useful stuff. Most important is the candy, arguably. For every treat bag, you have the chance to get candy corn, lollipops, and candy bars, which are food and drink items that will make mages totally relevant. Who would have thought that lollipops could quench your thirst? Well, apparently they can, since all those items restore 3% of your total health and mana every second for 25 seconds. I believe you get between 4 to 6 of the food items if your treat bag contains any of them. So after a good amount of innkeeper visits, you should be able to start your own candy shop. That's how many treats will rain upon you. In actuality, we can't be sure what the drop rates will be in Classic, but according to one specific database, the chance of getting any kind of candy should be around 40%. This might very well not be accurate, so take the number with a grain of salt. Anyways, the food items are absolutely great for leveling, and they will reduce the amount of money you would otherwise spend on it. The treat bags will also often contain one of my favorites, the Hallowed wands, which allow you to turn party members into all kinds of weird and gimmicky creatures. The best are the ones you can actually attack and cast spells with. Those include Ghost, Pirate, Leper Gnome, Ninja, and Skeleton. A lot of people enjoy being able to morph their character, whether it be through Savory Deviate Delight, Knocking Fucker Elixir, or those Halloween specific wands. The sad part is you can't use them on yourself, so you'll have to rely on party members. The drop rates for the wands seem to be lower than the drop rate of the candy, but there are quite a few different wands in total, so it all adds up in the end. The last potential items to drop from the treat bags are all the different kinds of masks for every race and gender of the playable races. They will take up a headspace slot and have a duration of 7 days according to one particular old database comment I read. They're fun and all, but if I'm leveling, I'm looking for the candy, and if I'm 60, I'm desperately wanting the wands for the fun. The treat bags are awesome, but sometimes the innkeepers will give you a trick instead of a treat bag. Those can involve getting turned into one of the hallowed wand creatures yourself, or more annoying ones such as being hexed for 45 seconds or so. I don't know what the chance of being tricked or treated are. Maybe it varies depending on the mood of the innkeeper and how you have behaved in the game recently. So, with the treat bags and fun innkeeper stuff out of the way, let's look at some more treats with Hallow's End pumpkin treats. They stack in sizes of 100, and the best way to obtain many of them is through different Hallow's End quests. So why would you want to get any of those pumpkin treats in the beginning? Well, if you're a trickster like me, they can provide a number of different funny effects that change the appearance of your character and gives you certain buffs. There are 4 different outcomes in total. The first one will increase the size of your character slightly and turn you orange. This apparently stacks with other size increasing buffs. So if you're looking for fun, I'd get some Winterfall Firewater or Elixirs of Giant Growth. As a horde, you can go to Bombay in Sentient Village as well if you completed the Salazar quest to try to get the growth buff, which increases the size of your character dramatically. You can become a giant with all those effects combined. The effect lasts 20 minutes, and I'm quite certain you're able to cast spells, attack, and mount up with the effect active. The second outcome when eating the Hallow's End pumpkin treats is to get turned into a skeleton, but not just your regular Knockin' Fucker Elixir skeleton, a skeletal warrior. Pretty dope, isn't it? I'm not sure if you're able to attack while the effect is active, and you most certainly won't be able to mount up. I really hope you can cast spells without the effect breaking, since that makes it much more awesome. But it's cool nonetheless, and it also provides underwater breathing. The effect lasts 20 minutes like all the other. The third outcome is turning into a pirate. You'll be able to mount up in this costume according to WoW Wiki, and I'm pretty sure you can engage in combat too. It really wouldn't make much sense if you couldn't. It's a different kind of pirate than the Savory Deviate Delight pirate, so you really want to get those pumpkin treats for the unique appearances they provide to your character. The pirate effect will also give you a 50% speed increase when swimming, which can actually be really nice if you're doing underwater quest. The last outcome will make you levitate and turn you transparent. On the WoW Wiki, it explicitly says you cannot engage in combat with this effect active. Perhaps that means you can indeed engage in combat with the skeletal warrior effect. Let's hope that. I honestly can't remember it all from back in the day. So, now you're probably desperately wondering how to get those pumpkin treats, drooling at the very thought of them and the goodness they provide. As mentioned, they are obtained through different quests. For the Horde, you can pick one up in the Valley of Honor from the NPC Spoops. The quest requires you to go to 4 different innkeepers in the major cities and Sentient Village and do special emotes to be rewarded with candy. Yeah, it's all about those holiday candies. It will reward you with 30 pieces of delicious pumpkin treats. The Alliance equivalent, which is basically the same except you pick it up in Stormwind in the Cathedral Square and go to Alliance Innkeepers instead, will also reward you with 30 candy pieces. A second quest for the Horde is Rotten Eggs from Darkcaller Yanka outside of the Undercity. It's pretty hilarious since she sends you to South Shore in the Hillsborough Foothills, where you need to place the rotten eggs in the main keg of ale to ruin the Alliance's holiday celebrations. I love how Blizzard encourages world PvP with quests like those. I guess it will be pretty tough sneaking into the town solo. Well, maybe you could do it as a rogue or druid, I suppose. If you aren't one of those two classes, you probably want to gather a group of people, and you need to be relatively high level too, I would assume. Once you return to Yanka, you're rewarded with 15 Hallow's End pumpkin treats. While you're picking up rotten eggs, you might as well also get Stinking Up South Shore, which requires you to throw some stink bombs in South Shore. It also gives 15 pumpkin treats as the reward, and it says in the database that the quest is repeatable. The equivalent NPC for Alliance to the Horde's Darkcaller Yanka is Sergeant Hartman, found in South Shore during the Hallow's End holidays. He has two quests, the first of which, named The Power of Pine, requires you to clean the mess the Horde is making with their stink bombs by using the item you're provided, Stink Bomb Cleaner. Clean up a stink bomb dropped in South Shore by the damned Horde and reap your reward of 15 pumpkin treats. The second quest provided by the Sergeant has to do with the Wickerman festival in Tirisfal Glades, so I'll start by explaining that first. Outside of the ruins of Lordaeron, where Darkcaller Yanka is located, you will also find a massive Wickerman, which is set ablaze every night of the holidays at 8 o'clock in the evening server time to celebrate the Forsaken's liberation from the Scourge. The Wickerman will continue to burn for quite some time throughout the night, and around him the so-called Wickerman Embers will appear, and those you should really care about. They will provide you the buff Invocation of the Wickerman, which is absolutely bonkers frankly. Get ready for this. It increases your health and mana regeneration by 25% and your stamina for 25% as well for 2 hours. The health and mana regeneration, okay, I'm not sure how powerful it is, still undoubtedly great for leveling especially, but the 25% stamina increase, that's crazy. The Spirit of Sandalar buff from Zul'Gurub will increase all your stats by 15%, which is considered amazing, and even though the Invocation of the Wickerman buff only increases your stamina, it's by a quarter. Unbuffed, my level 60 mage currently has 154 stamina. A 25% increase will bump that number up to 192.5, giving me 38.5 stamina more, or the equivalent of 385 HP. Now, that's only for a mage, and other classes will likely have considerably more stamina. As a warrior with pre-raid biz, I believe you can get around 300 stamina, so a 25% increase would give you 375 stamina, or 750 more HP. That's 62.5% of the effect of a Flask of the Titans, which is pretty damn amazing if you ask me. The Invocation of the Wickerman can really increase the beefiness of a raid group substantially and lighten the load on your healers. Across a 40-man raid, let's say everyone has the buff and will get an additional 45 stamina from it. That's 18,000 more HP across your raid group. Once you start getting set pieces and better gear, your stamina will increase a lot as well, and the benefit from the Invocation of the Wickerman gets greater and greater. I think it's an awesome buff, but maybe you're sat wondering how you get it if you're Alliance. The Wickerman Festival in Tirisfal Glades is protected by level 60 elite Wickerman Guardians, and with Horde present, you're probably not very likely to sneak in and get one of the Wickerman Embers that otherwise provide the buff. I'm not even sure if Alliance characters can get the buff through the regular Embers. The way they retrieve the buff is actually by killing the elite Wickerman Guardians. They will drop Wickerman Guardian Embers on the ground, and it is through those you get your buff as an Alliance. It's a little more effort going to Tirisfal and killing level 60 elites in Horde territory. While I'm quite certain you'll only be able to get the regular Wickerman Embers while the Wickerman is on fire, maybe you could get the buff as an Alliance anytime, since I would guess the Wickerman Guardians are always up and around. I don't know for a fact, but it wouldn't make much sense if they only spawned when the Wickerman was being lit on fire. Anyways, we'll have to see how it works exactly during the actual event to have everything confirmed. So let's return to the quest from Sergeant Hartman that started the Wickerman Festival talks. As it turns out, it's not only the Horde seeking to cause trouble for the opposite faction during the holidays. The quest crashing the Wickerman Festival is proof of that. To be honest, there's not much crashing happening since the objective is simply to scout the festival. Judging from old comments, it's completed by running close to the Wickerman himself. With the Wickerman Guardians presumably protecting the area at all times, it might not be the easiest task to complete. The purpose of the quest is for the Sergeant to get an idea of how big the festival is going to be so he can predict how much trouble the Horde will cause in South Shore. You'll be rewarded with 15 Hallow's End pumpkin treats upon turn-in. The pumpkin treats are bind on pickup by the way, so you can't sell them on the auction house. Once you complete the quest where you need to go to the different innkeepers of the main cities, you'll be able to buy pumpkin treats from one vendor in Orgrimmar and one in Ironforge. The cost for 5 treats is 35 silver, and unfortunately the shelf life seems to be only 14 days, so you can't hoard them and have enough for the next year. One of the last things I want to mention about the Hallow's End event is the chance for pumpkin bags to drop from high level mobs, mostly 50 plus it would seem. It's a 16 slot bag and only different from the Traveler's Backpack in that it's bind on pickup. It's a cool little gimmick and they only drop during the event. The last part I want to mention is all the decorations the Hallow's End brings to Azeroth. You will see pumpkins, lights and candles everywhere in the towns and cities, right in the spirit of Halloween. Hopefully it'll help you get into a proper holiday mood. Unfortunately, there are no flying broomsticks or headless horsemen in Classic World of Warcraft. They were introduced in the later expansions. I still really like the seasonal events, and the Hallow's End, even in its vanilla form without the headless horseman, is probably my favorite, followed up closely by the Christmas one. I hope I didn't miss any important parts. If I did, feel free to leave a comment pointing it out. Thanks a lot for watching the video, guys. Take care, everybody.